It's Tom at Ninja MLM. I just wanted to say a few words about this whole law of attraction thing. Now, if you look this up, right, you'll quickly find out it's not a real law. There's absolutely no science behind it. And, skeptics and people who are, say, rational mind or rational brain thinkers will seize upon that and try to shoot it down. Now, look, I value science a great deal. Without science, we wouldn't have all of this technology and, this modern lifestyle that we have today. So, there's no way any right-minded person could knock science or the scientific method, right? There's certain concrete physical laws to this universe that we live in, which, no amount of imagining in the world, I guess back in the Middle Ages, was going to manifest a computer, or the internet or something like that, or a television set. People had to actually find a way to build these things. So, science is a real thing, science with medicine and everything else. So, I'm definitely not here to knock that at all. But I am here to take to task a little bit some of these rational thinking people who like to shoot down things like the law of attraction now, or positive thinking, or whatever you want to call it, because I really think there's science in there that, maybe we just haven't discovered yet, or maybe it's just beyond the realm of being discovered or proved in a scientific manner. Because, this stuff, there's something to it. There's something to it. You'll find that some of the most successful people in the world just have this way of drawing in success, and there's more to it than just positive thinking or anecdotal or whatever. Thoughts really do draw in situations and people, and I honestly don't know how it works. I don't know how it works. I'm not interested in proving that it works scientifically. There's people out there working on that. More power to them. I just know that there's more to it. I usually think of that quote from Shakespeare, from Hamlet. I'm not going to get it exact, but it's where Hamlet's talking to Horatio, and he's trying to tell him about the ghost of his father that he saw, and, I guess Horatio can't believe it, and, Hamlet's like, there's more things to heaven and earth than are dreamt of in your philosophy, Horatio, which means that, 100 or 200 years ago, whatever, it was impossible to break the sound barrier. But today they do it, they hop in an airplane and boom, they can break the sound barrier. So there's a lot of things that just haven't been discovered yet. Even, at our level of technology, we're really infants when it comes to technology. So, there could be an advanced civilization out there, who knows where, that, they combine physical science and technology with, stuff up here and have a more complete, whatever you want to call it. So you just don't know, okay? So, you really shouldn't be so quick to dismiss things that can't be proven scientifically. Now, you shouldn't let them lead you off into the sticks and reject science, because that's wrong too. I believe that you need to meld these things and get them working in tandem. Look, you could even point to, for example, I was reading a blog recently where, what is it? It wasn't a blog. It was on Google Plus. It was the NASA page, and what happened was, somebody posted. Oh yeah, okay, this is it. They released some cube satellites, little cube square satellites, and you show a picture of these three cubes kind of flying behind the space station or some sort of spaceship with the Earth in the background. And these are three little cubes. Now, to a science fiction Star Trek fan, what do they look like? They look like Borg ships, right? The Borg have those cube ships. These were tiny, but, it was amazing. They look like these Borg ships. So people started mentioning that in the little comment section, and so some smartass comes in and says, I wish you science fiction people wouldn't come in here and whatever, I guess pollute this scientific thing with your nonsense. He didn't say it like that, but that's what he meant. And I went in there and I corrected him. I said, look, I said, and this is a true story. I put it in a quick little smartass comment reply, but to expand on that, this is what I meant. Back in the 60s or 70s, NASA was inspired by Star Trek. They saw all these things that weren't invented yet, the tricorder, the communicator, all these things. And, we've got a lot of these things today. DeForest Kelley, the guy who used to play Dr. McCoy, he's passed on these days, rest in peace. But, he used to talk about how now we have these things. We've got cell phones, we've got, walkie-talkie, they had walkie-talkies back then, but, we've got these cell phones and things that, these multi-communication devices, computers that can, computer is really today a chameleon for many different devices. You can replace almost anything with a computer. A computer is basically a chameleon these days. It's more than just a computational device. It's a TV, it's a filming thing, it's a music player. It does all. It can masquerade as anything in the form of software. So look at what I'm doing now. I'm creating this. So these things are all very inspirational, and it all came from here. Imagination. Imagination is a big part of science, and a lot of these skeptical type people, they overlook that. They overlook the power of imagination. Now, no one's dissing science really, but you can't diss imagination or positive thinking or all of this stuff because it's all part of the human experience. It's there for a reason. These people. I was about to say, well, God created us that way, but obviously a lot of these people are atheists, the pure science people. But even you could put it in context of, for example, nature made us this way. Whether it's God, nature, whatever, somehow we ended up being the way we are, and we are the way we are for a reason. It separates us from the rest of the animals. We're still way different than they are because we're the only ones on this planet so far that we know of that have created technology. And imagination is a big part of that. So this whole law of attraction thing, and I'm quick back to the Star Trek thing before I forget, because I almost forgot. The NASA people, there's a story about how a lot of these NASA people were asking the Star Trek actors, the original cast, what does this do and what does that do? And, and they were like, well, this is just these are just props. They're not real, And these scientists took a lot of that seriously, and they used it as inspiration. And also, there were, stories on how a lot of these people were telling, what's his name? The guy who plays Scotty, James Doohan. R.I.P. to him, too. He's also passed on. That he was, because he played the engineer on the Enterprise, that he was the reason a lot of them became pursued engineering and science or joined the Air Force or whatever. So these you cannot overlook the power of imagination and any of those things. So this whole law of attraction thing is real, in my opinion. Even if it's not a scientific reality, it serves a purpose, okay? And I can tell you right now, the positive thinking, there's something to it. And it's more than just positive thinking. Several years ago when I embarked on my journey, and I'm far from where I see myself being, okay, in the future, because it's always a journey. I was stuck in a bad marriage. I was looking around. I didn't like my job. I kind of asked the universe or whatever, is this all there is? Is this really all there is to it? And just asking that question opened up a Pandora's box. and lots of things changed. Um, and a lot of things changed without my conscious decision or doing. These new situations came upon me, and I believe just through the process of asking for change. Now, of course, there was action tied up with that later on, but all I can say is there's something to it. A guy that I used to hang out with, and unfortunately, I mentioned all these people who are dead. He's since passed on tragically. A good friend of mine. He actually gave me a copy of The Secret back then. And this was another guy. I mean, I've worked in the software industry. I work in technology. I'm well acquainted with science and the science crowd. So I'm definitely not. I'm a believer in science in a lot of ways, which can make you almost schizophrenic when you talk about this stuff, because that rational part of your brain is like, oh, come on, but you know there's something to it. That's all I can say. Because maybe some of these other rational thinking people haven't had the experiences I've had, so they've got nothing to base any other belief on. They strictly believe in science, like the Randy Foundation and all these skeptical people, Skeptical Inquirer. They don't have the experiences I have. Look, I've seen things that these people have never seen. And experienced very odd things that I can't explain, and I know science can't explain. So that's, I guess, one thing that makes me more receptive to this sort of thing. But my friend Gary, who I miss a lot. If you're watching me there, Gary, I hope you're okay where you are. But it's he turned me on to this stuff. I mean, he was actually weird. He worked in software, the software business with me. But he was also, he's a big technology guy, but he was also a ghost hunter on the side. Like, he was one of these early, like you see all these ghost hunter shows on TV. He was into this whole paranormal investigation thing, and he got some things on film that were, like, really wild, back in the day, the late 90s. I wish I still had that stuff. I don't know what I did with it. He sent me some files that were just amazing, like video and audio files and EVP and all that stuff. So I know that there's, but my own experiences too. I've experienced a lot of weird things. So this whole secret law of attraction thing kind of appeals to me, and it always has. And I just know through my own life and how my own life has changed and transformed over the last 5 or 6 years, and how it's moving along. And I'm moving from that bad place to a better place. I'm still in the transition. I'm here to tell you that there's something to this, okay? Now, I'm not trying to convince you in the way that, say, a cult person or a religious person would. I don't care. You take this and do with it what you want. You can reject it out of hand. That's your right. Or you can, maybe you're a fellow traveler and this speaks to you. What I'm trying to say here, though, is that, this whole law of attraction stuff, it's not the only thing. There's actually a deeper, higher level to this law of attraction thing, which I'm into, which is actually much bigger than this whole secret law of attraction thing. The whole entryway into the secret and everything showed me that there's actually there's a lot more to it than the law of attraction. Put it that way. I'm thinking more of the works of Arnold Patent here. You can look him up. He's pretty wild. So, and there's a lot more to, you thoughts really are things. They teach you this stuff, and it's true. Thoughts really do change things and manifest things and bring other situations and people into your life. Like if you're seeing this right now, chances are it's no accident. I can't prove that to you. I've got no interest in proving it to you. But if you're seeing this right now and you're taking this in, somehow some aspect of you wanted you to see it, and you're seeing it. You can accept it or reject it. But I just want to kind of like get people into this whole idea that, there is something to this, and you should be open to the possibility. And, your life can transform. And the whole other thing is, there's a whole thing about money with the law of attraction and everything. You really, you do have to take some action in life. But it's like, you can go out and consciously try to grind your way into making things work for you, and that may not work. That may be counterproductive, but when certain things come into your life or into your sphere, your orbit, or you come into the orbit of certain ideas, you should probably pursue them or at least investigate further. So that's really kind of how it works. Sorry, I have a cold right now. So, come back to my site, look around. There's lots of stuff. It's not just about that, obviously. I'm going to do a lot more on this. This is a topic that's near and dear to my heart because I really do believe that it's real and there's a lot to it. So anyway, but you can look at like this whole secret thing. Read the other side if you want to. If you go to Wikipedia, they'll tell you straight out, about the whole skeptical view, and there's no, science behind it, and we all know that. That's no big deal. But this whole Abraham Hicks and a lot of these people, there's a lot of, you need to just be open to this stuff because there really is a lot to it. And I can tell you that, how my life has transformed just by asking for change. I embarked on a whole wild ride, So anyway, I'm not going to ramble on anymore. It's probably already too long. But come to my site, look around. If you want opportunity out there, you got to recognize the opportunities and go for them. And that's just the whole thing. Recognize opportunities, go for them. Put yourself in the position to be better and to better your situation. And, because all the positive thinking in the world won't do anything if you're not open to seize the day, carpe diem, that whole thing. So anyway, if you're a fellow traveler, you'll know what all this means and it'll resonate with you. If not, I guess move along. So thanks for watching my crazy ramblings, and I'll talk to you later.